Hey folks, back again with another great cave base for you all. In this video we look at probably one of the easiest cave bases to defend and reduce your chances of getting raided drastically. I personally like this base because it reminds me of the old toy, the Chinese finger trap, simply because it's easy to get in but not so much to get out. As always folks, thanks for watching, stay safe and take care. So, this cave base is pretty simple and requires no building except for a few chests if that's what you wish. But what I would recommend is actually building a flag, as there is room at the bottom for a small modular build to keep your precious goodies. As you would expect, this cave has 2 points of entry, but the important thing to note for this particular cave is that there may be 2 points of access, but there's only one way out, and it requires swimming through intricate underwater cave formations and requires skill and knowledge, but above all, you cannot swim overweight or you run the risk of drowning. Let's test it out. Here we have the entrance. As you can see, it's already pretty well hidden behind these bushes and its entrance is very small. Once you drop into this cave, you are now trapped, with no way of escape except travelling through the cave and swimming out the treacherous exit, which will almost certainly result in your death, unless you are a seasoned explorer. For anybody wondering, before we go any further, you cannot drag chests, backpacks or anything valuable out from this point. The game will simply not allow it. I've tried hundreds of times, it does not work. So now we can move on to the next part of the cave, which might I add is actually really big and possibly contender for top 3 biggest caves in the game, although a lot of it is underwater. As you can see, I have managed to build quite a sizable base down here on the bottom, which you can use to keep all your gear and materials. Using caves as a base drastically reduces build time and time needed to grind materials and other stuff like that. In essence, it's a quick and easy template for a super strong base. This cave is one of the best Scum has to offer, in my opinion. Now then, the most important question is how do you get out of this cave? As I don't want to give too much visibility to this in an attempt to keep it somewhat secret, there is only one way out, and that is to swim. The exit is placed right here, and when you drop down you need to follow the underwater cave system until you reach this point, in which there is a small pocket of air that you can use to regain your breath. Once you have your breath, back down to the bottom again and swim for your life. Try your best to follow the natural formation of the cave and use it to guide you out to the entrance. And once you have made it out, begin to surface immediately, as you will be starting to suffocate, and if you haven't found your way out by now, it is already too late and you will die. Now, you might ask, surely I can just grab a ton of loot and swim it all out with each run, and that simply isn't possible. For example, if you are carrying more weight than your character has strength, you will simply sink to the bottom and drown. Depending on your character's strength obviously, which will be different for everybody, you might be able to carry 2 or 3 items on each run, which will simply not be practical and basically just pointless. Don't forget you can fortify the cave in many ways, including mines and traps everywhere, which will make the raider's life a living hell. Another strategic advantage is that the cave is located on an island, and you will need a boat to access. To me, this is as strong of a base that you could possibly ask for, and with a little extra effort you can fortify it with some extra walls and other building elements to make it solid and almost unraidable. So let's take a live walkthrough here and explore some techniques for building down into this cave to give yourself a formidable stronghold. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel for another Scum video. In today's video we're going to be looking at this awesome cave base. Now this cave is probably my favourite cave to actually build in, because it requires very little effort to fortify, and with a little effort you can actually make it extremely strong. So the entrance is here, right? So it's quite disguised as it is, but when you come up to it here you've got this little entrance, and I just can say I've fortified it here with some walls. Now this is completely optional. You don't have to do this, you can leave this out. The best part about this base is that when you drop down into this little area, it is actually impossible to get back out. You cannot jump, you cannot piggyback. The only way out is if you build a little structure like say a locker or a platform to use to jump out. Other than that, it is completely impossible to actually get out of this base once you're inside it. You can't transport chests or anything or bags out from here. I've tried, it doesn't work, it's impossible. So straight out, once you've dropped down here, there's only one way out. And the way out is to go through the cave right to the bottom and swim out through an intricate pathway, which is basically, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you will die almost immediately until you figure out the route down. So you come down here, it's actually a massive cave. There's loads of space. You can actually build more walls and doors and put traps here and stuff to fortify it even further. But come down, go all the way to the bottom. There's actually space here to add some foundations. You can actually build a little modular build just right here as well. But once you get to the very bottom, there's actually quite a bit of space to build a reasonably sized modular build. And there's plenty of room in here for upwards of 4 players. I mean, you could maybe squeeze in more players than that. But we've got beds here, we've got workbench, we've got plenty of storage space. You could sort of configure this any way you please. And like I said, it's completely optional. You don't even need to build down here to make it secure. Now, how do you get out is the question. There is only really one way out. If your weight is too much and you try and swim, you will simply sink right to the bottom. Let's see what else there is. There's actually more to this cave. More room back here. That's a room, and you always get things that spawn here as well in this chest. And look, backpack is a bedroll as well. That's just naturally spawned here. But this cave is actually quite large. There's room for modular build, like I said. But the key and the best thing about this cave base is, like you've seen there at the start, once you're in, there's only one way out, and that is to swim. Now, you can't swim with loads of gear on you, so if you were to raid this base, you can't get out from the way you came in, and the only way out is to swim. You can't carry loads of gear and swim because you will sink to the bottom. So, is this base unraidable? Not necessarily. Is it close to being unraidable? Yes, but it has a perfect little attribute that I like, and I like to refer to it as the Chinese finger trap, which is, it can be quite easy to get in, but getting out is the difficult part. Of course, you could play the long game. You could take the flag, wait for it to be yours, and then you could just take the bait, obviously, and then build a foundation or something to get out. But let's show you the way out. I don't want to really expose this too much, because I want to keep it a little bit secret. But your only way out is to swim, and it's down this way. Let's take a look and see how difficult it actually is. Now, I've got no weight, so I'm able to swim. But what we need to do is to head right down through this tunnel here. Now, the key is you can't make it out in one go. There's a little air pocket just up here you can use to regain your breath, and you can start to swim again. Now, you can imagine trying to raid this base. You're under attack, you're getting fired at, people are waiting for you outside. You're trying to carry loot. You can't carry much loot. Carry the gun on your back, clothes, and maybe 1 or 2 items before you start to sink. And then the last wee stint here to get out is, this is the difficult part. So you go right down again to the bottom, and then you come through. So you kind of have to follow the cave's sort of natural formation. Sort of swing left here, stay low, very low, onto this rock. Keep going, keep going. I'm bringing up here. As you can see, I'm starting to run out of air already. You gotta keep going right down to the bottom here. Now, you can imagine if you don't know where you're going, so swing left here, you will get disorientated really easily. And if you haven't already found your way out by now, you will almost certainly drown. And then once we're through here, we just gotta swim right to the top. But as you can see from my health bar there, I am starting to suffocate already. And we are out! Just in the nick of time. So how would you raid the space? There's no real options. If you carry 1 item out at a time, I mean, it's going to take you hours upon hours upon hours to just empty the loot out of the space. So you don't even have to build a wall here. I sort of built it there just to show you an example. This is just an extra fortification. People could waste C4 on their rockets and stuff trying to break this down. And then when they drop down here, they realise, wait a minute, how am I supposed to get out? There's no way out. Literally impossible to get out from here. You have no choice but to go down. And once you get all the way to the bottom, you find that there's a base, and you're like, yes, excellent, there's a base, let's raid it. Then you realise the only way out is to swim. How do you get out? Maybe you don't know. So this cave is basically the perfect template for a quick and easy, super strong, almost unraidable base in Scum. And where is it located, you might ask? Well, here it is, in A1 on this island. So you have extra protection in that to get onto the island you actually need a boat. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best caves in Scum, if not the best cave to fortify and to live in. Anyway folks, hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.